huge potential for us. I mean, just the activity that can be created just by sort of government action. As you guys know, particularly the city of Philadelphia owns a lot of real estate, whether they be sort of, rec centers, whether they be sort of office buildings where things are happening, and we could sort of lead the way and it's a smart use of taxpayer dollars because you're cutting down the other bills that you already pay. The city pays a ton of money to PICO, pay a ton of money to PGW, and if you can sort of, number one, conserve and then retrofit some of the current buildings that are that were designed 50, 40 years ago without those things in mind, and sort of not taking advantage of some of the natural things that are there. I mean, they sit in sunlight for 10 hours a day, those sorts of things. If you can have each building, you have a reduction of 35 to 40% of the cost with each building associated, that it pays for itself over 7, 8, and 12 years. But you have that sort of savings that will be maintained for the next 50. So that's another one of the sort of initiatives that came out of the bill, would be for the government to be the first to do it. And there's already a number of things out there when it comes to, there's a federal sort of for people to jump into the sector with regard to solar panels. There's a solar panel rebate that's at the state level and the federal level. So we're also incentivizing some of that activity as well. But government can be the leader in making sure that all of our buildings are, LEED certified, clean and green. So that was sort of the thrust of that. And it's a huge opportunity for us to create some jobs. I think we have a stagnant manufacturing growth, and that can sort of ramp that up for us.
Stuff Philadelphia have any idea about how to utilize those buildings, other stuff, to get the federal funding, or not? Is it just a work in progress right now? Do you know anything about?
Well, it's all Philly Greenworks.
The city actually is doing a bit to take advantage of some of the federal funds that are out there to get their self in order when it comes to being green. The state isn't at the same pace as the city, and part of it is associated with the cost. But I think it would be good business for us to sort of practice what we're at least trying to preach.
Does this also go back to education, because with green jobs come with new forms of of skills and talent that's needed? It probably goes way back to talking about those folks that were in college. Could be an opportunity for that as well.
Huge opportunity, and it's like those opportunities are going to be around for a while. And then the opportunities are abundant in a city like Philadelphia, where the housing stock is relatively old, and there's a huge opportunity just to do some of the weatherization, number one, and a lot of homes with flat roofs, and I think we have a number of people that are in an economic position to take advantage of that, given the tax incentives that are out there to move toward solar. And, so I think that it is sort of an education piece when you talk about the workforce development of the government.
So is that also in the, where is that as far as progress?
So in the bill, in the legislation, there's a series of grants that are opportunities. And one of the opportunities is around curriculum development. So that you grant people like community college, Philadelphia, for instance, or technical schools, or even high schools, really. There's nothing in high school from applying for a grant to actually help them develop a curriculum around green economy issues. So, for instance, if you wanted to have in your high school science class, you wanted to have a solar panel installation club or something like that, you could apply for a grant. And then there's a separate one, there's a second line item for equipment. So if you have a training program that is in the green fields, this actually applies to there are a lot of these programs already. But again, high schools, community colleges, tech schools could all apply for this as well. And you can actually apply for this money to actually help you get, say, actually pay for a solar panel to have your kids working hands-on with this stuff. So that's the educational side of it. It's a comprehensive bill. It has a whole lot of different things.
And some part, a small part of it has already been done by executive order by the governor. And that was just recently that he did that. And the state received $6 million to do job training, just green jobs training. And that's going to be broken down into 10 regions. I'm sorry, 6 regions. And it's going to be it's going to be driven out sort of in a formulaic way, and by formula, to each of the 6 regions based on population. And that's probably will be happening within the next, I'd say, by August, is when those dollars will sort of hit the ground to do the training. Sure. Literacy, right? Yeah, well, I mean, it's sort of the literacy stuff. One of the other things that I found is that we are, I guess this ties back into we're doing some work with the United Way, and what we're doing is we're having these. We have a lot of daycares in our district and throughout the city. And the state about 4 or 5 years ago started this program called Keystone Stars. And Keystone Stars is basically a way to, it's a marketing tool for daycares. And your star level depends on what the kids learn while there. So moving from just being babysat to actually there being some value attached to it for your child, so that they actually learn something while they're in daycare. So one of the initiatives that we're working on, because at a minimum, if you're sort of 1 star, your kid's learning to read. One of the things that we're working on is pushing all of our daycare providers to enter the STARS program. Right now, within the 179th district, we have 52%. 52% of the daycares participate in STARS. So that's 48% that don't. So what we can do is we can have a huge impact on, the literacy levels of young people, before they enter sort of pre-K, kindergarten. They should be reading. And, we can do that by improving the quality of the daycares that exist currently by pushing them into the Keystone Stars program. But not just saying you should do this, but, introducing them to the grant programs and microloans so that they can, train their staff. And, because with anything that you do, there's a cost associated. So we're not only saying, here, do this, but we're saying, here's how you can pay for it if you're a small provider or, a large provider. So that's one of the literacy initiatives that we're working on. And also, in partnership with the school district, their parent university. One of the things that we've sort of come into is that the parents, some of the parents that we interact with don't have the capacity to help their kid when it comes to homework and other things because their literacy levels may not be where they need to be. So in partnership with sort of Parent University, we have these workshops for parents to help them, improve their capacities as it relates to reading and comprehension, things like